Testup.io, the easiest test automation tool on the web. Jumps and loops. If-then conditions and repetition in loops. Hello and welcome to this next tutorial of Testup.io, the easiest test automation tool on the web. In today's session, we're going to take a look at jumps and loops. So conditional jumps is basically what we use in order to depict if-then conditions. If something happens, then do something else. Like if, for example, a pop-up sometimes appears, you want to close it and then continue. But if it doesn't, you want to continue anyways. And loops is if you have tasks that are repeating themselves, that you loop over and over again. And this is pretty much what we're going to take a look at today. So first things first, I'm going to go to the login page and log in and start the application. And I've prepared for today as well, open the app, and I've prepared for today as well a Google spreadsheet. So let's go through it real quick as to see what we're going to automate. This is going to aid us a little bit in our loop in order to just depict the kind of tasks that we want to do. So the Google spreadsheet in our example would be your application that you're trying to automate. We are using just the Google spreadsheet for illustrative purposes of how that works. So what I've done here is, first up, I've created a field here that is a random 0 and 1. So this is sometimes green, sometimes red. So if I start entering numbers here, for example, it's going to turn green randomly and eventually back red. Next up, we've got a current date, which is basically an equals today, which always has today's date, because this is what we're going to work with. And the total today, which is going to calculate the total amount of records we've created in this list of today. This is kind of the formula behind it. So if I enter like the 15th of 11 in here, it's going to add to 1. And the next one is the maximum that I'm going to allow. And this one is basically going to compare those two. If this number is greater than this, it's going to say over. Otherwise, it says under. So as soon as we have our 5 attempts total, it's going to write here over. So this is roughly speaking as to what the test is going to do. So let's directly get started. So let's go to our project and create a test. As a test, let's call it jumps and loops. And let's create a task for desktop. Let's select a custom resolution. And let's get started with editing. So in this test, I'm going to automate basically first a Firefox browser that is going to open the Google spreadsheet and then perform those actions and maybe repeat them if I want to. So first things first, I'm going to double click on Firefox. Then I'm going to make it full screen. So let's make it full screen once it's loaded. And then I'm going to basically enter a URL. And then I'm going to start typing, and here instead of text I'm going to basically copy paste this link to the Google spreadsheet and hit the enter button. So now that I'm in the Google spreadsheet, basically we have concluded the first part. I can conclude this also with a quick check to basically make sure that this has happened. And now we're going to start entering some tags. First tag I'm going to enter is going to be called beginning. This is the tag I'm going to jump to later on if we're going to complete basically our loop. So let's do this first. So let's call this beginning. I'm also going to prepare the document a little bit. I'm going to filter out the done ones because this is not something I want to deal with right now. So first things first, I'm going to copy and paste the current date. For this, I'm going to select the current date. And then I'm going to copy it. Copy, and then I'm going to paste it. And for pasting, just if I paste it like this, it's a Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V type of commands. It's going to paste equals heute or equals today, as we've seen earlier in the Google spreadsheet. So I'm going to do a right click here. There is a special keyboard input that I could use here as well. It's just to illustrate. So apologies, this is in German. So the Google spreadsheet detected us to be in Germany, so it made it to German. So I'm going to just basically post the values, just the values of the current date, which is the 15th.11.22. So now that this is done, I'm going to jump right one box and type in done. Then I'm going to jump right one box And then I'm going to perform the following action. So right now it's green. So I'm going to perform a find action here. So let's see if I find an area that looks like this. This action is going to be performed either way. So even if it's not green, it's going to perform it. And it's going to return either true or false on whether it found this area or not. So a check would kind of stop if it didn't find, and the test would stop at that point because it didn't find the action and the test cannot continue. But a find basically just tells me, is this there or not? So let's perform this action, players find, and let's go to our control panel, and you see in our clipboard, we know the system has now logged in a true. This next thing I'm going to do is going to add a couple of tags. The reason is this is going to make the editing of the test later a bit easier. And again, I start with a hashtag in order to be able to jump to this later on. So let's begin with the first one, it's green. So this is the first possibility. The next one is it's red. And the next one is this conditional. This is the conditional jump. It's either green or red and then do one thing or the other. And at the end of it, I'm going to just add one that is conditional end. Conditional end. So now that we have it's green, it's red, and conditional end entered here, I'm going to jump to the previous point. That basically makes sure that I don't edit anything in the device itself, in this test itself. And now basically I'm right after this point, find has been done, and now I have either a true or false statements. And if it's true, I want to jump. And I want to jump to a label, it's green. So this is what I want to do, it's green. And then obviously it found true and then jumps to it's green, and then it's going to continue here. So if it's green, I wanted to type now green. And then I want to basically jump to the conditional end. So I wanted to perform this action and then go to the end. This is what I wanted to do at this stage. Then at the conditional end, let's go there. I'm going to basically be done with this part of the test, and I'm going to go to the next one. So I'm going to be very careful here to select just the status and this filter button. And on the filter button, I'm going to hit the done button, as long as obviously done is filtered out. So let's hit the OK button. Now it should be filtered out again. Now I want to also program in what happens if it's red. So I'm going to basically force the situation where it's red. And let's type in some numbers here until it's red. Oh yeah, there it is. There we go. It's red in here already. Yeah, that didn't change it. So let's continue. There we go. Changed it to red. And here it didn't change yet to red. Let's see if I can make it red. Ah, that's right. Perfect. So let's go to the step here before, jump here. So we found if it's green, we're going to have a true statement here. If it's not green, then we're going to move past the jump if true and go to the next step. And we're going to enter a find again, and this time with a red box. So we are either going to find a green or red box, and play is find, and we're going to make a jump if true and to the it's red area. I could simply say if jump if true and jump if false, you jumped either to one or the other. That I could have done as well. So now I'm at the red area, so let's go there. And now after this, I've jumped to it's red, and it's red. I'm going to type in red. I've not now completed the text. Now I'm in a random position, obviously, for our text test. So for our purposes, this is all I want to do here. And I'm going to jump to the next place because I'm not going to play it now out. And I'm going to jump to the conditional end as well. So I've either performed it's green, it's red, or I'm jumping to the conditional end. Now, basically, I've set up the conditional jump. Now let's do the loop as well. So we're going to jump to the last position here. So we've filtered out the last step. I can also clean up the test a little bit here. We've jumped to the last step. And now as a last step, we're going to do the following. We're going to take the max reached value here, and we're going to select the field below. Let's do that, play it. And we're going to insert copy this. Now we've got in our clipboard a value that is under So if we look at control, it says under here. And I want to set up an equals just to show you how equals works. There's a million ways of doing this. I'm doing it with equals just to highlight how equal works. So equals is going to compare the value in my clipboard to the value I'm just typing right now. So let's stop, oh, not conditional and, I think it was under. So if the value that I've just copied into my clipboard is under, I'm going to have a true statement now in my clipboard. And now I can jump, if true, to the beginning. So as long as it says under, it's going to jump to the beginning. If it's not under, it's going to pretty much end the test. So it's going to perform these set of actions about 5 times. Assuming I have not made any mistakes right now, and video editing will show whether I did or not, because you will see a cut in this video, I'm going to now play it. But before I play it, I'm going to prepare my test a little bit, because we now have a 1 here because we've entered this one time already. So I'm going to delete that so we start from 0. And then I'm going to prepare the test by filtering out the dones. And now it should be ready to be executed. Let's start and run it and see what happens now. It's going to now, as always, fetch a virtual device and perform the actions I just told the program it should do. It's going to perform the conditional jump and write either green or red in the box, depending on what it finds. And it's going to hopefully do the loops. And we're going to see the loops as well in our progress here of the virtual device. So right now it's loading, it started up Firefox, it's opening the Google spreadsheet, as we can see here in our live video. And hopefully it doesn't take so long, so that the video doesn't get too long today. So I shouldn't have done 5, maybe 3 would have been enough. So it's completing, it's nearing the end, and then it's going to encounter the conditional jump and hopefully jump to the beginning. Yeah, perfect. This is looking actually quite good. I can take a look as well in our Google spreadsheet. I see it performing. It found, I don't know if the color here might be different to the color that the bot is seeing apparently. So in this case it worked. So it's doing the same thing over and over again. It already has 2 completed. I can watch it live, basically performing the actions, because Google spreadsheet allows me to see what it's doing. So now it found a red one. Let's take a look here. So it ran already for over a minute, maybe 1.5 minutes. And it should be done. 4 or 5. And last but not least, and it should pretty much be done soon. Maybe it's 6 because I made it greater or equals. Let's see. Passed. So let's take a look at the results. In the results, I'm going to start filtering this out. Let's filter out the dones, and we've seen, well, this was the one that I filtered out at the beginning from yesterday. Okay, one time it basically didn't detect it as a date. That's a Google spreadsheet kind of issue. So data, I think here, number, this is a date. And now it's shown correctly. So it found red, green, and red, green. It's like one after another. It's changing back and forth. Well, that's random for you. Until it was over and it completed the test. The total time it took for the test to run was 1 minute 34. And we did a conditional jump with the green and red and a loop at the end to jump to the beginning and repeat it. I hope this was helpful for you to understand as to how you could do it with your applications. In case you have any questions, contact us or book a demo. In any case, it's been a pleasure as always, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. This was Testup.io, the easiest test automation tool on the web. Thanks for watching. Take a look at our other videos to learn more about Testup.